get your lick back. If a nigga gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop letting this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop letting this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. I feel like I'm JX.
J-Way.
I'm a perfectionist. Adderall got me restless.
I'm gone.
Run with a wild crew, they get reckless. Young boy, come up off that neck.
Give me that.
To the trends. CLE be the band.
Welcome to Bleachers and Speakers. I'm your host, June. I got my boy B Foster with me, and we are working on these off-season vibes. The football season over, but that doesn't mean me and Foster is stopping. We have these NFL draft prospects we're going to go over and talk about. But before we get into that, I want to remind everyone to subscribe to Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube, and also for your audio fix, follow us on all the aggregators. Those are platforms like Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts. Check us out there. Make sure you following us. Type in Bleachers and Speakers, FFSN in your search. Make sure that notification bell on, so when we drop content, you'll get an alert and download those episodes. We have a specimen here, and his name has been buzzing. His name is out there. Foster, I want you to go ahead and tell us, who is this young man on the screen? And if you're listening, you're missing out. Check us out on Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube. But Foster, who we got?
All right, we got Mike Green out of Marshall. He's an edge rusher who's 6'4", 248 pounds. He ran a 4.57 40, which yes. That puts him in the 95th percentile as far as 40 times amongst defensive linemen. He's the 10th ranked defensive lineman. He was also a Senior Bowl participant, and he is a late first round projections. He began his career as a linebacker at Virginia, which was a humble and slow beginning. He took 2 years off from 2021 to 23. He returned in 2023, transferred to Marshall. He had 5 sacks, 43 tackles, and 1 forced fumble in 2023. And in 2024, he had a full-blown breakout, 17 sacks, which led the FBS, 81 tackles, 38 of which were solo, 3 forced fumbles, and he had a tackle for loss in 12 of his 13 games in 2024. So a major, albeit at Marshall and in a little bit of a weaker competition, but nonetheless a very strong year. His strengths, he's consistently beats tackles with explosive first step and bend around the corner. He has very advanced pass rush repertoire. He has a cross chop and a fluid spin counter. He has violent hands and natural leverage. He has a relentless motor and closing burst. He has a wrestling background, which shows up in his hand usage and an elite change of direction. So this guy is a very explosive and elusive edge rusher. Off the edge, he takes sufficient angles en route to the quarterback as well. So very sound mechanics and hand placement due to his wrestling background. As far as his weaknesses, his measurables. He's not the biggest guy. Like I said, he's only at 240 pounds. He's going to need to put on some strength, and he doesn't have very long limbs either. He'll occasionally duck inside gaps and lose contain on the outside edge. His upper body strength, like I said, needs to improve. He struggles to disengage when he goes up against longer tackles who try to lock onto him. And he has a tendency to leave his feet when he's tackling as well. So he needs to refine his tackling techniques, but very strong around the edge. Assuming that he's keeping his edge and not ducking inside to the gaps. As far as his role to Detroit, same thing. Obviously there's been some talks as far as whether or not we're going to keep Darius Smith. So you put him on the edge opposite Aiden Hutchinson when he's ready, and it's a race to the quarterback. We need an edge rusher. He's projected to go later on in the first round, so he's kind of going to be in that range. We'll see when the combine happens. Because if he in fact runs a 4.57 or faster, I mean, I find it hard to believe he runs anything faster than 4.57, maybe a little bit faster, but that can certainly help his stock. And we'll see if he has added any bulk as of yet, because if he's already filling out at that size, that's going to help his draft stock as well.
This guy gets my pick. If he's there at 28, this is the guy that I want. Now, granted, I always pick the wrong person. I never agree with the draft picks, but this guy, we need that edge rusher. If the only way I don't see the Lions taking him, if he's available, is that we've already addressed it in free agency. That's the only way. If you don't, you got to get this guy. Foster, once again, you've done a great job with these featured player of the week. And I want to remind everyone to please subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers. We're getting close to that 300 subscriber mark. Now, well, we're not getting close, but we're inching towards it. So
closer.
We're getting closer. So subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube.
Get your lick back. If a nigga gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your ish splat. Stop letting this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back.